Welcome to week 9, everybody. During this week's content, we will be covering chapter 7, Liking, Love, and Other Close Relationships. I think your syllabus gave it a different little bit of a title, Interpersonal Attraction, Close Relationships, and Love. And it's basically the same thing in chapter 7, just different wording. So this week, we're going to be pretty much back to regular. I know last week was a little bit of a divergence from our regular pattern, but this week you're going to be, again, exploring chapter 7, and then doing the videos, the article reading, as well as a discussion. We don't have an exam this week, so that is the week in view. If we look at the objectives for chapter 7, we're really starting out with, what are the characteristics and what are the variables present that prompt us towards being attractive to someone, and what attracts us to others. Some hypotheses in that area. You're going to get a lot of different viewpoints presented to you in the research there, evolutionary perspective, social cognitive perspective. So you'll see a lot of that. A lot of terminology in this chapter. Don't take it for granted that you understand liking, love, and relationships. I mean, we've all been in them. We've all had these concepts at play in our lives, but that doesn't necessarily mean we understand the research that speaks to these concepts. So again, please make sure that you're doing a good job of reading through the material this week, and again, watching the videos that are on Revel, as well as the extra 2 that I've put here for you. So one thing is you've got your slides. The article reading for this week is article number 20. That, again, I just want to reiterate, is tied to the discussion, but the discussion shouldn't be based just on Article 20. I kind of noticed in the previous week that, people often are spending a lot of time referencing the article when they respond to the discussion questions, which is great, and you should, but you also really want to be integrating in the chapter. Sometimes people are only putting one statement, one little itty-bitty piece from the chapter that fits in a response to a discussion question, and that doesn't really show me that you've taken what you've learned in the constructs from the chapter and applied them to answering the question. So with that being said, this week I'd really like to see in these discussion questions you integrating all of the concepts. So if you go right back up to objectives, all of these concepts, start to play them into and show how they help to answer some of these questions I've selected for you for the week. There's some fun stuff in here too. Again, I have another quote for you. Nothing has produced more unhappiness than the concept of the soulmate. So this is quoting from a psychologist that has examined this idea of our one soulmate, and is this an accurate statement? How do we feel about this? So here's where you get to have a little bit of fun and project a little bit of what you think. Do you think that there's only one person for everyone? Why not? Use examples to support this. Again, go to the literature that you're reading in the book and what kinds of research is cited to support or refute that statement. And then using all of the readings from the week, I'd love you to list 3 things that you've learned that may decrease your chance of getting divorced. So, the assumption is that you've read the book, you've watched the videos, you've read the article, now you have a little bit more knowledge, hopefully, than what you started with. Based on what makes for a good lasting relationship. What did you get from that? Any pieces, any bits of, research that helped you maybe figure out ways of what we know to our knowledge helps make for a better relationship, i.e., less chance of getting divorced. So talking about those factors, and some of those things are changeable and some of those things are not. There are certain factors that can be stacked against us that might contribute more to divorce or the dissolution of a relationship that we can't necessarily change. And these might be environmental factors, or they might be biological factors. Some might be hard to change, and some are easier to change and navigate and mold to our circumstances. So getting you to think about some of that when you're in this week's discussion is really my goal there for you guys. So that is about it. If you guys have any questions, again, please email me, and please look back at feedback that I'm giving to you on last week's special assignment. We had the prejudice video assignment on Crash, and I've already been starting to take a look at people's responses. I haven't yet graded them, but I'm seeing some really good, interesting stuff. Make sure that you're going back into your grade once they're out, and I have graded all of your responses, and getting my feedback and looking to see what I had to say. Okay? And that wraps up the week. Thanks, everyone.